Hello, Ross from The Fit Boss. Look, 2026, very cold start, very difficult to get out and get moving. So what we've decided to do in collaboration with One Tribe to help people get moving and get into the groove again of exercising is to come up with a set of 3 exercises that can be done. Each week we'll give a new set of exercises to do. I'm not going to overpromise what these will do. It's not going to get you shredded or looking like, you know, any of the Hemsworths or any kind of action figure. But what it will do is help you to get started. The first step is always the most difficult one to take. So with that in mind, let's get into it. So week 1, what are we going to do? We're going to do a simple push-up, a simple squat, and a plank. Very simple. Low risk of injury. Really, we're going to play it safe. Again, this is about building movement and momentum before we start kind of moving on to more advanced stuff. Step 1, little bit of a warm-up. And again, everything that we're using, you're going to have access to at home. There isn't going to be any fancy equipment or anything like that. The most you're going to need is either a broom handle or a chair. So to warm up, just get a bit of movement into the shoulders. Stretch. If you can go all the way back, go all the way back. But really what we're concentrating on is I just want you to feel the stretch. What some people find a little bit easier is to rotate the shoulders like that. If you find that really easy, you can shorten your grip and it'll give you a bit more of a stretch. So just stretch, get the arms moving, get the blood moving into the arms. What I always like to do then, so a lot of us are office-based workers and we always get really tight hips. So one of the things that I like to do to kind of get rid of that stiffness is take a big leap forward. So these tiles are about 1 meter long. So I tend to try to take a big step forward and then just settle into a stretch, put your knee on the ground and then slide forward. And what that's going to do is it's going to open up your hip flexors. It's going to get rid of that, just that tightness that you get in your quads, which is really important. So you're going to time it for about 30 seconds a stretch. And again, you don't need to spend ages doing these, just a couple of ones just to kind of get the body ready for some movement. And back up again. So push up. It says I'm going to show you 3 variations. I'm going to show you easy, medium, and hard. The easy version is, there's 2 ways actually to do the easy version. And I'm going to use this bench to show you real quick. So the first way to do an easy version is to do it from your knees, right? So you keep your knees on the ground. You keep your hands roughly shoulder width apart, flat on the ground, and you bring them down. Keep your elbows tucked. Don't let your elbows flare. Keep your elbows tucked, down and up, down and up. And the key thing here is to do it slow and controlled. Don't go for speed. It's not your friend. You're going to get way more bang for your buck doing it slow and controlled. That's one easy way. Another easy way of doing it is if you have a chair or a bench. And again, you can do it either from your knees or you can do it from your toes, where you're literally like that. Try not to hit your head off of the bench. It's a little bit kind of trickier. And you go down and up, down and up. All right. Some of you might need to work up to doing a standard push-up. Others, you might be able to kind of drop straight into it. So that's the easy version. It says you can do it in the knees. You can do it with your knees. Actually, this would be a better one. You can do it with knees or you can do it off of a bench. down and up, down and up. And again, it's really important that you don't have high hips and you don't have hips that are too low. Keep your hips, try and keep it as flat as possible. All right, so that's easy version. Standard version is what you'll all know about. It's from the toes, same instruction, right? Keep your elbows tucked, hands just slightly wider than shoulder width apart. Keep your hands under your elbows. You don't want your hands way out in front of you. You want it down. Okay. And again, what I tend to do is I'll try and count. So I'll go 3, 2, 1, 1, 2, 3. That's a good tempo for doing it. So all the exercises are going to be done for time, not number of reps. And if you can keep that tempo and work for a solid minute, you're going to be in really, really good shape. So that's the standard version. And then the more difficult version is if you have 3 chairs, and if you're feeling brave enough, I'm trying to think how I'll do this in here. There we go. So what you could do is if you have 3 chairs, chair 1, chair 2, chair 3, all right, and you put your feet up here, and what this is doing is it's increasing the range of motion. So the ground, I can move beyond what I normally would be able to do if the ground was there. Down and up. And again, everything is the same. I'm not sagging the hips. I don't have the hips up in a pike. Hips are nice and flat. Down and up. And you can do the same tempo. So that's your push-up. 3 variations. See how you go. Squats are very, very simple and straightforward. Again, because most of us spend all of our time sitting at a desk, our glutes tend not to fire off. So what I would encourage you to do is literally start building that mind-muscle connection. Squeeze your glutes when you're doing the movement to make sure that they're involved, because otherwise you're putting way too much stress on your lower back and you're going to do yourself an injury. What I would recommend to begin with is you use some sort of a chair to guide you so that you know the depth that you're going for. And all you do, bring your heels. What I normally like to do in terms of squat width is a little bit wider than shoulder width apart. Now some people will be able to do it really narrow. Some people will feel more comfortable the wider they are. But the main thing is there's no definitive one-size-fits-all rule when it comes to squats and the width that your feet should be. It actually is determined by your skeletal structure. So do what feels comfortable. If you're looking for a rough test, go to jump. So if I was to do a double foot jump like that, that's where I feel strongest. That's where my body naturally feels strongest. So that's where I'm going to put my feet when I'm going to squat. That's the width. And again, very, very simple. I'm just going to go down, touch off the bench. I'm not going to sit back and sit up. I'm going to go down, touch and up. Concentrating on squeezing the glutes all the time. Down and up. And again, it's count for 3. So it's 3, 2, 1, touch, 3, 2, 1, up. 3, 2, 1, touch, 3, 2, 1, up. If that gets really comfortable, what you can do is you can concentrate on going much deeper, or you can get a bit of a weight. It can be, you know, a bag of rice in the house or something like that. Nothing too crazy. It can be a couple of kilos. You hold it in front. You do the exact same exercise. Or if you don't have access to any weight, what you can do is you can increase the range of motion. So you can go down. As you notice, I can get down a lot lower than the bench can. And up. Down and up. And again, concentrating all the time. Keeping the core tight. Keep it set. Breathe in through your stomach. And keep your glutes engaged. That's your squat. And again, some of you might want to go from like a really high height. So if, let's say that's too high and you might only feel comfortable doing a quarter squat, right? The important thing here is that you get movement, you get used to doing it. After a while, this will get good to you and you'll feel good coming down here. And then after a while, you feel perfectly comfortable coming down here. And it says you might want to include maybe a weight to increase the resistance and increase the difficulty. The plank, last exercise, really simple. You're all probably very, very familiar with them. All you got to do is just plant your elbows on the ground, flat like this, lift your hips up and hold. And you're going to try and hold it for a minute. Initially, most of you probably might not be able to hold it for a minute. Hold it for as long as you can, right? And again, make sure interestingly, what most people don't realize is make sure your glutes are engaged, make sure your quads are engaged. Don't just rely on your core when you're doing this. It's a total body, right? I used to talk to a sprinter from Jamaica many, many years ago. A mate of mine was training with him. And he said his philosophy on it was, what people don't realize is your core goes from your knees to your shoulder because it's your trunk, right? It doesn't start from your upper hips and finish below your chest. Your core is much longer. You need to be strong all the way. Your hips need to be strong. Your glutes need to be strong. Your abdominal wall needs to be strong. Your erector spina, your back muscles, they need to be strong. That's what we mean when we say core. We don't just mean a six-pack, right? Your core, your trunk, your entire trunk needs to be solid and strong. So make sure all of it is engaged when you're doing a plank. So again, keep everything tight as you're doing it. Squeeze glutes, squeeze quads, squeeze your abs, squeeze your lats, squeeze everything that you can. And hold for as long as you can. As I said, we'll do it for up to a minute. The easy version, again, two easy versions. One, you can do it from your knees, like so, or similar to the push-up. It's a bit easier if you do it at this angle here. But again, don't let your hips sag. Don't let your hips pike. You should be flat, stiff as a board. Okay, that's the easy version. Now the hard version for the plank, which I don't think many of you will need, because if we're doing all of these exercises for a minute, that's probably tough enough. You can introduce a little bit of resistance. Again, what I tend to do is you could put a very light, moderate weight at your lower back and just let it sit there. Try keep it balanced as you're doing it. But the core, the plank is one of those kind of straightforward exercises. So you've got your push-ups, your squats, and your plank. Every exercise is going to be done for a minute, back to back, no recovery. And then you're going to do, by the time you get to the third round, or by the time you get to the third exercise, time a minute recovery, and then go back and start again. So you're going to do 3 to 5 rounds, depending on what you're able to do, or even depending on how much time you actually have at your disposal, right? Because, like I said, we all have lots of commitments, busy careers, busy families, all this kind of stuff. So again, this workout, it's not going to get you shredded, but it will get you moving. And when you get moving, your body responds in ways that you'll be very surprised. That movement is medicine. And who knows, as I said, you start doing real simple, basic exercises and your progress compounds over time. People underestimate what they can do in, you know, a couple of months. They even, you know, they overestimate, what they can do in a couple of months to a year, but they grossly underestimate what they can achieve over the space of a couple of years, provided they do the little behaviors time and time and time again. So hopefully this was useful to you. If you need any more explanations, if you guys have any more questions, give us a shout. But like I said, you're going to do push-ups for 1 minute. You're going to go straight into squats for 1 minute. Then you're going to do a plank for 1 minute. Then you're going to take a minute break and you're going to do the entire thing again. And you're going to do it 3 to 5 times. So, best of luck. Catch you later.